Hello learners, I am Professor Munish Kumar Bhardwaj from School of Engineering and Technology, and today we will be continuing with the second part of our discussion, which we were earlier discussing about that training and development of construction workers. So this is the second part of this lecture series, and as you know that last time we discussed about the training needs, basically that what are the needs for training of construction workers. Then I discussed with you the identification of training needs, what is the importance of identifying these training needs, and what is the process of identifying the training needs. Then I discussed with you the types of training, different type of training basically, in which I discussed with you the induction training, then follow-up or refresh training. Then third one was site-specific training. And if you remember, I started with the components of training also, in which I covered first part, basically the training for personal safety. Today I'll discuss with you training for equipment safety, then training for environmental safety, and finally various hazards and preventive measures. So these things we will be discussing with you, the three more aspects or the three more components of the training I'll be discussing with you. So let us begin with the first one, which is training for equipment safety. Because rather I can say that second one, because first one I already discussed with you in the last lecture. So let us begin with the training for equipment safety. So as it is clear from its name, that here what we are stressing or emphasizing is that training to workers for equipment safety. These construction workers are using many types of tools and equipments. These are manual tools as well as they are using power tools and different type of machineries, small machineries to the big machineries. And what is happening there, that if they are using these tools and machines carefully, then it's fine. But if they are having any casual approach towards using these tools and equipments, then there are chances of some accident. And if they are using the power tools, then these accidents may be of fatal nature, basically, that they may cause big injuries, and even sometimes the injury may be or the accident may be of that nature that the worker can lose his or her life. So that is why we should be very careful while using these tools and machines and different type of equipments at work site, basically. And for that purpose, these construction workers should be trained properly for different aspects. Different aspects means basically that how to use a tool safely. Second thing is which tool for which purpose, basically. This is very important. If you have not trained the worker for the right choice of the tool, then he or she may use a wrong tool for a particular purpose. And if a wrong tool is chosen, wrong equipment is chosen, then there are chances of some accident and certainly injuries, which may be fatal also. So that is the importance of giving this training for the equipment safety, basically. So you can say that this training on equipment safety helps to prevent the accidents, injuries and damage to the machinery. So two way it is working, that it is avoiding the damage to the machinery as well as it is safeguarding the worker who is using that particular tool, equipment or the machinery. And third thing is also that by avoiding any accident, what we are aiming basically, that there is no disturbance to the work. There is no halt of the work. Because if some accident is there are lot many problems. There are some legal problems there to the company. There are financial problems. If work is stopped, then time is money basically. So the time the company is losing, it is losing money. If some fatal accident is there will be some legal problems basically. There may be compensations, financial compensations to be given to the workers. So many things, so many problems are there. So it is better that we train our workforce properly to use the correct tool and to use it in a correct way basically. So that is the thing. So first is here that correct use of equipment and machinery. So how we can do that? We should empower the workers to operate equipment and machinery effectively and efficiently, avoiding any misuse and potential damage. Then workers must know the intended purpose. As I was telling you that the worker should know that which equipment should be used for a particular work basically. So they should know that what is the intended purpose of a particular tool or machinery or equipment. That if some work is to be done by this X equipment, then that X equipment should be used, not that Y and Z should be used. Because in that case, if you are using any tool or equipment which is not meant for that purpose basically, then there are chances of some accident. So that is why, so they should tell that, they should be told basically that the intended purpose of the tool or equipment, where it should be used basically. Then functionalities, that what are the functions of that equipment or tool, what can be done with that particular tool or equipment basically, that should be told explicitly, so that there is no mistake in choosing that equipment. Then along with these, they should also be told that limitations of a specific equipment. Because when a manufacturer provide you some equipment, some list is given, some limitations are given basically, that for what work it should be done, up to what capacity. If it is something load lifting machinery, then up to what load it can be used. If it is something drilling, then up to what power it can be used. So such type of specifications are given by the manufacturer. So these things should be told to the workers specifically, that this tool can be used up to that limit only. So that is the purpose. Otherwise, there may be some accident. There may be some damage to the equipment, and along with the damage to the equipment, there will be health problems or the injuries to the workers also. Then lockout tagout procedure. What is that? If you are intending that this tool will not be used, then there should be proper lockout and tagout basically, so that accidentally one should not use that equipment. So we say that these accidents occur because of that energy transfer. That transfer of energy from tool, equipment or machinery to the human body. So what we are trying that doing this lockout and tagout procedure, we are ensuring that there is no chance of transfer of energy from equipment to the human being. So here we are ensuring that energy sources are isolated and secured before maintenance or repairs are performed. Because this generally lockout and tagout is done when machinery requires some maintenance and repairs. So at that time, we should follow the proper procedure for the lockout and tagout, so that there is no chance of accidental transfer of energy, means some accident, because the workers are not aware that this equipment or machinery is under maintenance or repair and it should not be used basically. So that is the purpose. Then these workers should be told about that hazard identification and mitigation strategies. These workers should be empowered to identify the potential hazards associated with the particular equipment, with the equipment operation, and when any operation is going on particular equipment, they should not by chance or accidentally do something wrong with that equipment. Because sometimes what are there, that there are some sharp corners, sharp edges, pitch points are there. So they should be told that when you are using this equipment, what may be the problems, how you can meet with an accident if you are not careful, so that they can be very careful while using that particular equipment or tool and can easily avoid any possible accident. So they should be, once you have told, then they will be able to identify that what are the hazards associated with particular equipment and how they can mitigate that hazard. So these strategies should be told so that they can easily avoid any accident which may happen otherwise if we have not told them basically. Then these workers also require the training for power tools handling, because you know that it is clear from its name that power tools are different type. One is which are used manually basically. So when some accident occur while using these manual tools, then the nature of accident is such that there is no casualty or big injury. But when these workers are dealing with the power tools, because these tools run on electricity, so it is having a lot of power, and a simple mistake can lead to a big accident where injury can be of large scale, and sometimes the injury may lead to some fatal accident also. So here we have to be very careful. The workers have to be very careful while dealing with the power tools, because a minute you can say distraction can lead to a big accident. Because once some power tool run over that body part of any worker, then it will chop off simply. That is the importance here, that these workers should be told about that, how they should handle the power tools effectively and efficiently. So what are different type of power tools which these workers are using basically? These are like drills, power saws, jackhammers, nail guns. Nowadays you must have seen that these nails are driven with that nail guns basically. Earlier people used to use the screwdrivers, but nowadays the nail guns are used, simply driving a simple nail basically. So they all run on electricity. So these are power tools, and workers should be very careful while using these power tools. Then workers need to understand how to operate these power tools and also how to conduct routine maintenance and inspections. It is not only that operation is important. they should be well aware of that, how they should inspect if there is some fault. Then first of all, before using the equipment, they should first inspect that instrument, whether it is in good health or not. If they find something wrong with the equipment, then they should know also for a daily maintenance, simple maintenance, simple procedure for the maintenance. If something big has to be done, then it may go to that manufacturer or that service center. But for daily simple things, they should know that how to do the minor repairs and the maintenance of that equipment, so that they can use that equipment safely. So three things: they should know how to operate that effectively and efficiently and safely. Second thing is to inspect it, whether everything is fine or there is something wrong with the equipment. If something minor problem is there, they can do the repair and maintenance things. So they should be aware that how this should be done basically. Then good power tools handling training should cover the safe use of power tool, first of all, including proper gripping techniques. This is also very important. When you are using these power tools, so one should know the proper gripping of these tools. Because if you have if you are handling these tools carelessly or with a casual approach, because these tools are running on electricity, having a lot of power, so you cannot just hold it loosely. Otherwise, it may kick back and cause injury. Then keeping the tool stable. It is very important that when you are using the power tools, the tool should be stable. It should not move this way or that way, or it should not overturn. So stability is also very important when you are dealing with or when you are operating with the power tools. Then third thing is that you should avoid any awkward position and hand position. That you should not operate with wrong positions basically. Your position, how you are standing or sitting while using these power tools, how you are handling these power tools, how you are putting pressure on that. So all things are very important basically while using these power tools. Then again, your secured footing also, that you should stand with the firm footing. You should not stand in a casual position. So take a secured footing position when you are using the power tools. So that should be told to the workers. Then it should also teach workers about potential hazards associated with power tool, such as just I mentioned this earlier also, kickbacks and electrical shocks. These are the two major, you can say, problems while dealing with the power tools, that when you are initiating it, then because it is running on electricity, it is having a lot of power. So when you are doing the drilling work or cutting work, so you are putting pressure on that. So when because that it is when it is working basically, so a lot of vibrations are also generated, and that energy is transferred to the human body also. So due to that, when you are putting pressure on that, so as a reaction you get kickbacks and you may get unstable. If you are not careful, then you will be unstable, you can fall, and if you fall with these power tools in your hand, then you can imagine what can happen. It can cut your hand, tool, the legs, head even. So wherever this power tool touches your body, it can damage that. So that is very important thing basically. Then second part is electrical shock. If your equipment is not properly earthed, if it is faulty, if there is some you can say problem in that wiring, so it can give you the electric shock also. So for that purpose, one should be very careful, and these workers should be told categorically that what should they do to avoid any kickbacks or any electric shock basically. Then how to prevent these situations, they should be told basically. So what can be done? That wearing of protective equipment, proper gloves to avoid any electric shock, and proper gripping, having that proper position to while using these equipment. Such type of things should be told to the workers. So that is the importance of that training for power tools handling. Next is training for welding safety. So you know that welding process is you can say something hazardous, because when that electric spark is generated while doing this welding work basically, it can damage the eyes of the worker. So one should be very careful while doing this welding work, and these workers should be properly trained that how to make themselves safe while doing the welding work basically. So this welding work exposes field workers to many health and safety risks such as burns, because there are some while doing this welding work basically, so some burning things are there basically, so they should avoid touching the hot surfaces so that they do not get burns basically. Then electric shock, because it is this electric welding is done through electricity, and high voltage electricity is used in this operation. So they should take care that they should not touch any metal surface, and they should have proper safety boots so that this current is not passed through their body to the ground. So if they are protected by wearing that proper safety boots, then they can avoid any chance of the electric shock. Then as I told you that eye damage, this is the biggest challenge in welding work basically. Then along with this problem to the eyes, there is a noise pollution. It creates noise also basically. And along with that, some toxic fumes are also created while doing the welding work basically. So these if worker inhale these toxic fume, it can create problems to their health basically, especially to the respiratory system. So they should protect themselves from these toxic fumes basically. So all these should be trained to the workers basically. Also the workers must have proper welding safety training, which covers protective equipment, safe handling and storage of welding material, proper ventilation, because if you have proper ventilation, then you can easily avoid that problem of inhalation of the toxic fumes basically. So after that we move to the next one. Next is training for basic rigging safety. Now the question is, what is rigging basically? Rigging involves many operations like lifting, moving, placing and securing heavy materials, equipment and machinery at the work site. This rigging also involves hoisting equipment such as cranes, winches and lifting beams. So as you know that when we are lifting some load, we are moving or placing, then it depends on the posture of the worker that how the worker will be safe or he can get an injury. Because if a worker is lifting a heavy load with a wrong posture, then there may be lot many problems to his back, to his legs, to his head, shoulders even. So they should be told that what is the proper way to lift any load when they are lifting it, especially manually. So this should be told basically. Then these workers should be trained properly to set up the equipment, because when they are dealing with the cranes basically, so they have to set up the crane. Then they should be able to inspect it for any damage or defect. This is very important thing. Whatever tools, whatever machineries they are using, they should know that how to inspect for any damage or defect in that machine or the equipment. Then communicate with the crane operator during the lift, because when crane lifts something, then what is there, that one is crane operator who is operating sitting inside that chamber, and others are leading him or guiding him basically during the lift and placing of the material basically. So that proper communication has to be there between the operator and that guide basically. Otherwise there may be some accident because of this crane operation. This training should cover the safe load capacity of hoisting equipment, because when you are hoisting some material, when you are lifting some material, so as I told you earlier also, that when these machines are manufactured, so they are manufactured for some prescribed capacity. So if you are exceeding this capacity, then certainly there may be a damage to that machinery or equipment, and it can lead to accident at that site, injury, giving injury to the workers basically. So they should be trained for that what is the capacity of a particular machine or equipment to do the work basically. Then proper lifting technique. As I told you that if these workers are involved in the manual lifting, then in that case proper lifting procedure should be told to these workers basically. Otherwise, if they are doing in a casual manner, if they are lifting a heavy load in a casual manner without following a proper technique to lift the load, then they can get injuries. Then they should also be told about that how they can prevent accidents such as dropped lift and tipping while they are at the site. So they should be careful that when some dropped loads are there, or there may be a chances of tipping at any site. So they should be able to identify such hazards and how they can make themselves safe in these conditions. They should be trained for that, so that workers are safe at the work site. Then we move to the training for environmental safety. In addition to the personal safety and safety of equipment, basically it is also very important that we should ensure the safety to the environment. At any work site, we should not do any damage to the environment. What are different type of damages that are done to the environment at any work site? That is air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, and noise pollution. These are the 4 type of pollutions or damages that are done to the environment at any construction site. Air pollution, because this construction work is basically of nature that it is generating particulate matter. whether you are dealing with the cement, whether you are dealing with the aggregates, whether you are doing some excavation work, so whether you are preparing concrete, basically, whether you are doing demolition, so all these operations are associated with the dust generation, basically particulate generation of the particulate matter. And when this particulate matter basically goes to the air, it is causing the air pollution. In addition to air pollution, the problem of water pollution is there, because these materials used in the construction, some are of toxic nature also. They can pollute the water. There are chemicals which are used in the construction work. There are paints, basically. So if these all things goes ultimately to some water source, they are polluting the water. Then third thing is soil pollution. So if these materials like that cement, some other chemicals, these paints, if there is some spillage of these chemicals and these materials, and when they get mixed with the soil, then they pollute the soil also. In addition to these three things, basically, this construction site is also associated with lot of noise, basically, because almost all operations at a construction site are causing large noise, and this noise can be up to that level that it can damage the ears also, if it is exposure is for a longer time, basically. So that is what we should care at any construction site, that for the training of environmental safety, basically. So this is the importance of the training for environmental safety. So all our employees involved in the construction project should be trained to recognize environmental non-compliance events, so that they can alert management to the issues in the field. Because workers will first notice any non-compliance of any provisions of the environmental safety. Then if they are well aware, if they are well acquainted with that this event or this process is doing the environmental pollution, and if they are able to recognize that, if they are able to appreciate that thing, they can give information to the management that this particular operation or activity is doing the environmental pollution. Then management can plan or think something to avoid that environmental pollution. For example, if some generator is being used there, and if it is not properly maintained, basically, then it can cause the air pollution. That is, smoke coming out of that generator will pollute the air, basically. So worker will report that this particular generator is not working well, it is polluting the air. So management can take the corrective steps, basically. So this way, these workers should be told about the problems, that they should be rather acquainted, that they can identify the problems at the site, and because they themselves will not be able to find a solution to that. Their job will be that they can report to the management. Management can take the corrective actions or corrective measures, basically, so that the pollution, environmental pollution at the work site can be avoided. So this is the process, basically. These workers should be provided with spill kits, because if some spill of some chemicals, paint, something like is there. So they can clear it, or they can deal with that spill event, and using these spill kits basically. And they should also be given training on appropriate use, so that they can further reduce the risk of spilled material entering into the waterways. Because any spilled material, if it reaches to the water course or that water source basically, or waterway, then it will cause the water pollution and also the soil pollution. So to avoid that, they can use the spill kit to just tackle with that spillage problem. Then we move to various hazards and preventive measures. That these workers should be trained to identify different type of hazard at the construction site, whether these hazards are because of the operation of the tools, machinery and equipments, or these hazards are associated with different type of operations that are being done at the work site. So these workers should be given training to properly identify these hazards, and also they should be told about that the methods to prevent these hazards. So what are different type of hazards for which they should be trained basically? The possible hazards at a construction site are: first one is fall hazards, then respiratory hazards, then electrical hazards, then chemical hazards, then injury due to lifting heavy materials, as shortly we discussed this, then noise hazard, then eye hazards, then welding or hot work, then physical hazards, then stress hazard, and lastly but very important, interpersonal relationship hazard. The problems with the relationships of the workers at the work site. There should not be a fight between the workers. Otherwise, that distraction will be there during the work, and a disturbed worker can meet with an accident, which can pose a health problem to that particular worker and also to the other co-workers also. So such type of trainings should be given to the workers. Let us discuss some of these one by one. First one is fall hazards. Actually, fall hazard become very important when a worker is working at a height more than 2 meters. Because in construction operations which are done at a height more than 2 meters are categorized as risky operations. Because if some fall is there, if some worker falls from a height more than 2 meters, he or she may get injury. So for that purpose, they should be told that this, when you are working at a height more than 2 meters, you have to be very careful. What precautions should be taken while working at such heights? What protective equipments are there to safeguard you at working at such a height? So all such training should be there. What care should be taken? All such things should be told to these workers basically. And this is important because in the past there are many accidents because of this fall from a height basically, and most of these accidents were fatal accidents in which the workers lost their life. So that is why this training to identify and to deal with these fall hazard is very important basically. Some factors are involved in the fall, that why a fall occur? A fall occur because of the unstable working surfaces. When a worker is working at a height, a safe, stable platform should be there. If a safe and stable platform is not there, then there are chances of a fall of a worker. Proper support system has to be there. Proper platform has to be there. Then second thing is misuse or failure to use fall protection equipment and system. When these workers are working at a height, some fall protection systems are installed. Safety nets, then safety harness is provided to the worker. So all such safety measures are taken when a worker is working at a height more than 2 meters. But sometimes what happens that due to the, you can say, problem of the management, and sometimes because of the casual approach of the worker, they are not using these safety equipments. Safety measures are not taken, like safety net is not provided there. The workers are not wearing that safety harness. So in such cases, if some accident occur, if some fall occur, then these workers are going to meet with an injury which can be fatal also. So third thing is, in addition to these two problems, third problem is human error. That unintentional error may be there. If some workers is distracted by some action, operation or call from a worker, if he is distracted, he or she get distracted, then there may be chances that he or she is overstepping from the platform or become unstable to just listen to that worker, basically other worker. So such type of things may occur there because of that human error. So these workers should be told basically that these are the problems based on the past experiences. These are the problems that why the fall occurred in the past. These are the things, these are the reasons basically, and they should be told that you should not be the part of such errors, that avoid such type of things, such type of errors, so that you can avoid the fall basically. Then what can be done to make the provide a safe environment at a height basically? It can boost their confidence also while working at a height. These things are providing of guardrails, that at the platform around that guardrail should be there. Then as I told you, fall arrest system, in which that safety nets and the safety harness are very important. And covers and restraint systems, these can be provided to ensure the safety when the workers are working at a height. So what can be done to prevent accidents? What are the preventive measures for these fall hazards? Fall prevention and protection measures should be implemented whenever a worker is exposed to the hazard of falling more than 2 meters. Then fall prevention or protection measures may also be warranted on a case specific basis when there are risk of falling from lesser heights. Then fall prevention measures should be taken. Then, as I told you just now, that installation of guardrails with mid rails and toe boards at the edge of any fall hazard area. These things are provided when you are using the scaffolding. In scaffolding basically these guardrails, then mid rails and the toe boards are used, so that there is no such case of fall, basically from a height. Then there are fall from ladders also. This is also a problem. So proper use of ladders should be told to the workers, because sometimes what are the common mistakes basically generally while using these ladders. Ladder is placed at a unstable surface. It is placed at a slippery surface. It is not provided a proper support, or the worker is using some equipments or material in both the hands and moving on the ladder, climbing on the ladder. So such type of things are there. Or they are using some power tools while working at a ladder. So such type of mistakes should be avoided. They should be told that what are the proper way to work at the ladders and the scaffold basically. So this is required. Use of fall prevention devices such as safety belt and lanyard, or fall protection devices such as full body harness used in conjunction with the shock absorbing lanyards, or self retracting inertial fall arrest devices which are attached to fixed anchor point or horizontal lifelines. So this is very important when a worker is working at a great height, so that if some fall is there, then the worker will not fall directly to the ground. It will be protected by this safety harness system basically. Then appropriate training is required for use, serviceability and integrity of necessary PPE, personal protective equipment. The things important here are that these personal protective equipment, proper use should be there, that they should not wear loose helmet, they should not wear loose gloves, they should not wear the loose safety boots. Such type of things should be there, that how to properly use these PPE or the personal protective equipments. Then their serviceability, that how long they are serviceable. If some torn gloves are there, they should not be used, because through that torn part some pointed things may enter into that and can injure your hand. So such type of things should be taken care. Then inclusion of in these trainings, what should be included additionally, it is being told here that rescue and recovery plans, that if some accident is there, how to rescue and recover these workers. These workers should be told basically. We should not wait that some outside agency will come to rescue and relief operations or the recovery operations. These workers should be trained that if some accident is there, how to rescue and recover. And also the equipment to respond the workers after arrested fall. That if some fall is there, arrested fall is there, how to recover a person, how to recover and to rescue a worker from that this arrested fall. Arrested fall is there, that when a fall is there and because of these safety harness and all these things, the worker is hanging through that harness basically. So how to then recover and rescue that worker. So all these things should be trained to these workers. Then they should also be told about that use of aerial lifts or elevated platform to provide safer elevated working surfaces. You might have seen that at some construction site that some airlifts are used or the elevated platform are used when for a work which is being done at a height, and in that airlift or that elevated platform, standing in that, the workers are working there. So and it is generally done for a small work, or that when the work is work is to be done in a small area basically. So, and when the worker has to be shifted from one point to the another point, so it is done easily by these airlifts basically. But they should be told that how to work safely in these airlifts basically. Then next is respiratory hazard. So as it is clear from its name, respiratory hazard means something related to your breathing basically. So this respiratory hazard are caused because of many things, because as you know that construction sites are associated with a lot of dust, gases, mist, fumes. So all these things are causing the problems to the respiratory system. So these workers should be told that how they can make themselves safe, because these are part and parcel of this construction site. So workers should be trained that how they can make themselves safe from these respiratory hazards basically. So what they can do basically, they can wear the mask. If there is some only dust problem, then various type of masks are available basically. If some only dust problem is there, so simple dust mask they can use. If there are problem of some toxic gases, fumes are there, then other respiratory masks are available. So according to the situation, the workers should be trained that which type of mask they should wear in what conditions basically. So accordingly they will use that. If they are acquainted, if they are well aware of that different type of mask in different type of situations basically, they can use the proper mask in a particular situation. Then one very important hazard at a construction site is electrical hazard. Because if some faulty wire, some faulty sockets are there, if some faulty instrument is there, so there are chances of electrical hazard, electric shock is there. So this electrocution may be because of snapping of live naked electrical wires, then leakage of current from defective joints or exposed or faulty electrical devices such as circuit breaker, panels, cables and hand tools. Then there may be chances of touching the overhead electrical transmission lines, because when the workers are working at a height, so if some in the nearby there is some electrical transmission line, naked electrical transmission line, so if the worker is not careful, then he or she can touch that naked electric overhead electric line. So there may be chances due to that, chances of accident due to that. Then swinging part of machines, because crane, when the crane is working, crane is lifting something and moving one some load or something material from one point and swinging to the other part, and there it is dropping there. So these swinging operations basically, these swinging operations may touch. During that swinging operation, this crane may touch the overhead naked electric lines. So if such is there, such case is there, then that electricity will pass through that crane and it may cause damage, it may cause accident to the crane operator and also to the persons who are working nearby that crane. So these are some of the hazards basically. So today I discussed in this that what are the why the training are required for the equipment safety, then environmental safety, then various training for various hazards and preventive measures. I hope you must have enjoyed this discussion, and go through that the self instructional material that is have been provided to you. And if you have some questions, you can ask these questions in our next session. We will continue this discussion in the next session also. Thank you.